Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The feature race at Aqueduct on Saturday is the Garland of Roses Stakes for fillies and mares going 6 furlongs on the main track. You can bet this race, you can bet this card at the Big A on Saturday with the DRF Bets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com. Receive a 300% deposit match. Let's meet the field for the Garland of Roses. And Mike, the first and second choices on David Aragona's morning line. 3 in the $101,000 Dream Supreme Stakes at Churchill Downs on November the 4th. Vertical Oak earned lifetime win number 8. She's been very honest for Steve Asmussen. I thought she got a nice, easy trip on the lead that day, while Dream Pauline had a little bit of trouble in behind. And you could also make the argument that Dream Pauline might have a little more upside than Vertical Oak.
Yeah, she's got a lot more upside than Vertical Oak, but that doesn't mean that Vertical Oak, doesn't enter this race as the horse to beat. I kind of think that she is. I don't think she's any kind of superstar, Dan. I think that's pretty obvious when you start looking at her PPs. But she is pretty good. She wins a lot. She gets good trips. She's got a great post in this race. There's plenty of things to like about her. I mean, her win last time, though, basically she had that race handed to her. I mean, the pace was very slow. She just sat right up on it, took over, got clear at the end of that race. It was a nice performance, but it was a nice performance in a race where basically everything went her way.
Perhaps in this situation, even with the nice outside post position, she'll have to sit off 1 or 2 other horses. Let's see what the Timeform US Pace Projector has to say. They completely disagree. They think the Vertical Oak is simply faster out of the gate than the number 2, Yorkie Poo Princess, and the number 3, Sour. I would think that Sour, coming off a gate-to-wire win in the Pumpkin Pie Stakes, slow pace and all that day, has got to be hell-bent on the lead under Junior Alvarado.
I kind of agree with that. I mean, Sour, to me, there are 3 horses in this race who could potentially be right up there and be part of the pace, but to me, Sour is the only one of those 3 who feels like she absolutely needs the lead. I mean, she has to be on the lead in here to run her best race. That's her sort of her running style. I think she's pretty good, actually. And she did run well last time, but she just basically walked on the lead in there. She also caught a wet track that she really likes. I mean, she's another one coming out of a really nice performance, but a performance where everything went her way.
Yorkie Poo Princess, 4-time stakes winner, graded stakes place. Not bad at all for an $8,000 purchase that was dangled early in her career for a $62,500 price tag. Her last 2 races have resulted in blowout wins against lesser competition. She really took advantage in an off-the-turf race last time out in a race where there was no closing.
Yeah, there wasn't. I mean, it's another race where she got a very good trip in that race against a bunch of turf horses. And really, as you say, nobody was running at the end of that race but her. She took over. She won it well. New top figure for her. A filly who really likes Aqueduct, whether it's the main track or the inner dirt.
The cold weather.
She loves Aqueduct. She ran well 2 starts back at Parks as well. Another race where they just sent her from the inside. She got control of that pace. It was all over in the stretch. But at least her last 2 races leading into this, really good performances. Eddie Barker, a guy that I think a lot of people don't really know. He does a really good job sort of under the radar, and he's got this horse good right now.
How does Dylan Davis ride her from the gate? We know that probably her best game is speed. When she was the big favorite in the Busher last year, she came from out of it in a race where she was just better than those horses. Do you think Dylan is aggressive getting out of the gate and then eventually concedes to Sour and Vertical Oak and sort of sits third trying to draft to the outside?
Yeah, I think he might just, it might just be a situation where she'll leave there running, probably get outpaced to the lead, but I think she'll be able to keep herself in range, and that's what Dylan's probably going to have to do here, try and take up a tracking position on the outside. As a short field. Listen, maybe both Sour and Vertical Oak sort of outrun her early, but I think she'll be up close to the pace.
Tigalalu has shown route speed, and this is going to be her sprint debut in start number 6. She's really done nothing wrong in her career. She's hit the board in all lifetime starts. She's just a little bit slow on paper, and if she's going to win this one, it's probably going to be from the back of the pack, because I think with this sprint speed in here, she is outpaced early.
I agree with that. I think she'll get outrun on the turn back. If nothing else, you have to feel like when you watch her races, cutting back in distance. Maybe not this kind of a cutback, but it's going to be better for her. That was, let's just say it wasn't a good loss last time. They put the blinkers on. She got absolutely loose, was clear in the stretch, and just blew a clear lead at the end of that race. That was not a good loss. I really feel like that just had everything to do with the distance of that race. So going shorter down the line somewhere will be better for her, but this is a pretty steep cutback.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Garland of Roses Stakes. Mike, you believe in the upside potential of the 1 Dream Pauline, who ran so well at Saratoga off an 8-month layoff. A figure like that puts her right in the mix. Let's talk about the trip a little bit in the Dream Supreme. There was no pace, and she was kind of in behind.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that trip just didn't work out for her at all. You also have to factor in, off the big win, off the layoff at Saratoga, she missed another 3 months. She was I think Kieran was pointing her for the...
She was pre-entered in the
Prioress, maybe?
Also.
Yeah, she was pre-entered there. I think he was looking at the Prioress, though, at the end of the Saratoga meet, and I think she got sick there, didn't make that race, so things weren't going that well for her. and they showed up in the Dream Supreme. First of all, the pace was crawling. She was down on the inside, behind horses, held up, lost a couple of spots through the turn. You know, I understand sort of what Lannery was doing. He always stays inside. In that race, he had no choice but to stay in, and he just wasn't going to get to Vertical Oak in the stretch of that race. It wasn't a great performance, but it wasn't terrible. And I think this race it's a short field. It might set up a little better for her. Then I think they have to go a little bit in front of her. I think there's a chance she turns out to be pretty good.
You're going 1, 5, and 2. I'm hoping Yorkie Poo Princess sits off the 2 speeds. Maybe they go at it, and maybe Yorkie Poo Princess off that career best Beyer top gets first run on Dream Pauline turning into the stretch, and maybe is able to fend her off in the lane. Mike's going 1, 5, and 2. I'm going 2, 3, 5, and 1 in the $100,000 Garland of Roses at the Big A on Saturday. Bet the card with the new DRF Bets account. You will not be sorry, because when you sign up at bets.drf.com, you receive a 300% deposit match. It's an easy sign up, it's a fun race at Aqueduct, and it has an approximate post time of 2:17 Eastern. Good luck.